Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. Lovely. Thanks, Jane. Thank you, Lee.
Okay. Well, shall we get on with the panel? So I'm going to hand over to Jemma Fairclough-Haynes, who, amongst being a successful businesswoman in her own right, what's your actual title with the FSB?
Southeast Regional Chair. Yeah.
Southeast Regional Chair.
It changes sometimes.
I'm not sure.
I will hand to Jemma, who is going to lead a lively panel discussion. I hope we're going to have time for some questions as well.
Well, I'll try my best. Yeah. Yeah. So what a lovely bunch of people. You all look so friendly.
We're not.
You're not. Thank you very much for joining, and I'm really excited to do this panel because, you know, how to have fun at work from an employment law specialist. I mean, you only need an accountant in the room to make it any better. We are the most fun people around. So I want to start by introducing our panel, starting with Sue, who I've known for a number of years, but tell us about yourself and business and Carlean lettings.
Yeah, so Jemma and I started networking back in the dark ages and have continued. So my name's Sue Hainsby. I'm co-owner of Breakthrough Women with Deborah Turner. That's a women in business networking and training organisation. And in my part-time nowadays, I have a property business, so residential lettings, property management and development. So my apartment block is just around the corner to here, so this is quite local for me. So happy to be here.
Lovely. And Ben?
Hello, I'm Ben. I run a video agency that specialises in video podcasting called Your Video Team. Going a little while. I've took my glasses off so you don't confuse me with Sam. But yeah, we've got a studio over in Tenterton. We've actually invaded Medway. I apologise, please don't attack me. But we're coming up with packages to make it a membership as well, so you can hire it as and when you need to, and have a safe space to film as well. So that's what we do.
So what makes a safe space to film?
Pretty much somewhere where you can go and not be judged or watched by your staff watching you do TikTok dances.
I see. And Blessing?
Hi, I'm Blessing. I'm a chartered change and culture consultant. I help organizations who are going through transition become performance ready. I suppose my magic is that I bring structure to ambition. I have many hats I have worn through Kent as a businesswoman, but we'll stick to that one for today.
Yeah. And Sam, or Ben number 2.
Sam
number 2. I'm really interested to hear why it's fuzzy logic as well.
So yeah, my name's Sam. Most people call me Fuzz. The reason why, one, is because my last name's Fuzard. But two, so fuzzy logic is actually a term, and it's a term which is binary, so it's not 0, it's not 1, it's everything in between. So we focus on finding your authentic side of your business, because that's what's going to make you and stand out. So we are a marketing agency, and we have experts in every single field of marketing. There's actually 11 of us now, which is amazing. So from a videographer to a web designer to a photographer, social media, whatever, which I'm really proud to offer. And I'm also the co-founder of The Rookie CEO, if you've heard of that. Yes.
Yeah, I have heard of that. It was really good. You're based in Eden.
No, well, yeah, we do the events there. Yeah.
Yeah, just showing that I actually, did my research. Did my research. I'm so interested. I'm so glad that you mentioned being your authentic self, because I think I was sitting in Molly's workshop for all of 5 minutes, just enough to catch this antidote, where she said it's really important to be authentic because people really relate to authentic people. So tell us, in your business, what is being authentic like, in terms of humour and comedy and fun?
The first barrier for all of us is just feeling confident to be authentic. We all know who we are, but we always compare ourselves to someone who we want to be. And
like
then
Ben.
all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Ben was you had hair just before this. But I think it's just being confident that you can be yourself. And what's crazy nowadays with AI, it's even better to be yourself, because it's so much more authentic. It's so much more trusting. And it's a lot more obvious now on social media when you're writing a post that isn't AI. So honestly, I think authenticity is going to be the word of the year this year.
Yeah. And that, as you say, like with AI, lots of people, and there's nothing wrong with AI, we're encouraging it. It makes things easier in some regards. And we use AI in our business as well. But I think the ones that are going to stand out now are the ones that show that this is my voice that I'm speaking in, isn't it?
100% agree.
Yeah. Blessing, as a culture change consultant, what do you find in terms of authenticity in the culture of the workplaces?
I think you'll follow on from what Sam has said. It's self-awareness. You know, you're saying about being authentic. How can I be authentic if I don't even know who I am? So I think in organizations, what I've found is this whole fuzz again. Excuse the pun. Is do we actually know what our identity is? Can we say I'm aware of who I am? I'm aware of how I behave in situations when things don't go my way. Am I aware of how I'm going to respond or react? And same with our teams. So I think with regards to organizations, it's back to the individual self. It's individual people that make up the collective. So if as individuals we can focus on who we are, becoming more of ourselves, being more aware of ourselves as opposed to trying to be somebody else, become more of me. I think that's the goal.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And actually, if you have a team, how do you make sure they feel comfortable to bring their self, or as much of their self as they want to bring to the workplace? Because you don't have to bring your whole self.
Yeah.
You should be able to, but sometimes there might be things that you don't want to share. Coming back to you, Ben, then. So when people are doing their filming, do you find that they want to present a certain persona, or are you finding that people are being more authentic?
For me, and I'm guilty of it as well, I'm always thinking, how do I appease everyone? How do I make everyone feel happy or glad that I'm there or want to know something? But really, you do need to pee people off. And the way you're going to pee people off is be yourself, be honest, because the more people you pee off, that means you get a stronger percent of people that like you. So it doesn't mean necessarily go out and insult someone, but being yourself means that the audience watching can go, I don't want to work with you, or I do want to work with you. The people in the middle are never going to decide that. They're just going to take no action. They're not going to comment. They're not going to do anything. So being authentic, being yourself, and again, battling against AI. If you're, this is why we've gone into podcasts and long form content, because it is the way to be most genuine. You can't not be yourself for 30 minutes.
Oh, I don't know. Give it a go.
But if you have the right people with you that you feel comfortable around, and again, like I say, I pride myself on a safe space. If they want to have the right person asking questions, we've got the right person to ask those questions. If they feel like they're not comfortable on camera, we can help them be more confident on camera, or we get them to someone like Tim who can help them even better. And we want them to be able to relax, because we know that if you are true to who you are, your audience will be true to you, whether that's in the positive or the negative. You don't need to be up. I'm going to say, like, you want to pee people off, because that means 90% of people won't work for you. That 10% will, because you're being true.
I've never peed anyone off in my life, but I take some. Yeah, no, I do it daily, just to make sure I'm still human. Sue, I think you have definitely one of the most, well, we're all authentic, but your business, when I come along to Breakthrough Women, there is no other events like that. How did you and Deb do that?
We're not sure. I think we've both done a lot of networking events before. I mean, before lockdown, I was doing FSB events, and then we felt very strongly, and I did them online during lockdown, and we'd have 60 people on there every other week, and I'm not very techy, and it used to make me really anxious because everyone's just like a little pinprick and you're trying to make sure. And then we started to feel, as we were coming out, we just felt very strongly that women especially were fed up of being at home. They were fed up of their kids. They were fed up of their husbands. They wanted to get out. They've been trying to do everything. And it was just, let's just get a really nice venue so people can come out of the house, get ready and share. And it has just grown so much. And the community, we have 2 WhatsApp groups, because we have a membership group which has about 40 members in. And then everyone else is kind of in this other WhatsApp chat. And like most WhatsApp chats, it's going all the time. But people just ask all sorts of stuff on there. And everyone is generous with their help. No one ever wants to not do it. So it's just built a real strong community. I mean, we have an event next week. We're into year 5 now. sold out at 80 people with a wait list. It just works. And I think it's because everybody comes along. It's very friendly. It's very welcoming. And, you know, we're just thrilled with how it's gone over the years.
Yeah, I can attest to that. And it does help that you have fabulous venues and great food, which is always a good, a good way to get me out and about. Sam, do you feel like, because you're in marketing, almost a pressure, and tell me if you don't, but do you feel like you've got a pressure to be sort of fun and creative and or not really?
I wouldn't say so. I'm quite a fun and creative guy. If you follow me on TikTok, you'll know. There's not any pressure. Ben kind of nailed it on the head there. I think it's all about authenticity will attract your ideal client. And by ideal client, I mean people that you actually want to work with. And the power of being self-employed, we forget that we can choose who we want to work with. Not just as a client, but actually almost as an employee or as a collaborative or like there's 11 of us, but they're all self-employed. And I've met them all through networking. You almost pick and choose who you want to work with. You're like playing golf with your own business. Utilize that. I think it's an amazing power to have. We do forget that. Did I answer your question? I'm really sorry.
No, I don't think so, but it's okay. We'll forget. No, you did.
We know you haven't got that.
You did.
God number 2.
Those bits.
Yeah. So I think you said you don't feel that pressure because it's quite natural, and you choose who you want to be around and who you want to work with.
Once you're confident in who you are, I think you just forget. You just don't need. You just forget about the pressure because you realise once you know who your 5% are, and by that I mean who your ideal clients are, you can just attract them by being yourself. There's no pressure.
So you just mentioned that you work with 11. Is there 11 of you? Is it or 11 including yourself?
Yeah.
And there's some people you wouldn't want to work with, or you've chosen not to, and and there's some. This is why we've sat in the middle. And there's some who you've chosen to work with. As all self-employed people, how do you keep that connectivity? What have you got in common besides business?
I was really honoured because I managed to build a brand before even having anyone that people want to be part of. And I think I just found more fuzzy people, more people that are like me, and you just attract them when you're networking. And I think if you're in the creative world, actually, even if you're anyone, like you are really good at what you know and what you do, and you're really passionate about what you know and what you do. I think it takes a lot of courage to go, but actually, I don't really enjoy bookkeeping. So I am an accountant, and I've met this person who's really good at bookkeeping, really passionate. Straight there, and you get on. Is obviously number one, is you actually get on. It's so powerful, and I think once you kind of got off your high horse, which is really hard to do when you start your business, you kind of think, I know exactly what the best thing. I am the expert. But actually, we're all developing, and once you realise that, we'll always develop. Every single day, we'll learn something new. And if you're not, it's because you in your head think you're the best at what you can do. You're the best at what you do. I think that's not a great mindset to have. Everything's changing. AI, for instance, is developing every single day. We need to learn that. And if we don't, well, we're not great marketers if we're not learning how to use AI.
That is very, very true. I'm always on my high horse because I'm only 4'11" and a half. And when you're under 5 foot, it's very, very, very important. Blessing. So you work with a lot of professional services, don't you? How do you see people enjoying themselves, and what do you see as the downfalls when they don't in the workplace?
Interesting. I think when you watch a business scale, because I'm generally in that space, when it's scaled, shall I say wrongly, we lose fun. So in order to scale, it's important to strip it back to, like you were saying, what am I competent in? What's my competence? What do I like doing? What do I enjoy about this job? The other bits that need to be done that maybe I don't so much enjoy, I have the right to choose. I get to choose because it's my business. So I'll bring in someone who does that bit, that's the bit that they enjoy. So someone else is doing that. That's their magic, and that is done. So to scale, you need to make sure that you're aware of what your competence levels are, or what you enjoy doing, and shift it that way. So what you find is with professionals, if they've lost their sweet spot, it's because they haven't done it that way. And that's also the reason that stops us as women from scaling, from growing, because, what's going to happen if the person comes in? Are they going to take over? Are they going to this? That uncertainty stops us from growing but we need to grow. We need to grow. We need to grow to take on more people. We need to grow to help the economy. We need to grow to grow ourselves, to see what more we can be, isn't it? So in order to do that, I think taking the fun out is killing the business, is killing yourself, is killing your mojo. So be aware of what's fun for you, what you enjoy doing, the aspects, the micro detail of it that you enjoy. You have the power because you're a god in your own business. You can give it to someone else to do. The bit that you don't like, let someone else. It's like having kids, isn't it? I don't like cleaning the house. I've got 3 girls. They can do it. That's my delegating. That's it.
Empowering them.
Yes, I'm empowering
them.
You know, but that they know that that's their job to do. If they need dishwasher soaps, I can provide the dishwasher tablet, but you have to load the dishwasher. That's your job, and you must enjoy doing it with a smile on your face. So
How's that going? How's that been good?
Going well.
Yeah.
I started them very young, so it's their normal. But figure out what you enjoy and keep that for yourself and outsource the rest.
Yeah, I loved what you said. It's true, and I think it's important to know who you are. And you've touched on as well that you built this brand without even knowing that you had a brand, without building a business. And the brand identity is, I think, so key. Obviously, being in a really serious business, I always say we're serious. We're a serious business, but we're unserious people. Serious about what we do, but we're unserious in how we do things. And we make sure we enjoy what we're doing. But I think there is a pressure, isn't there? Especially when you're on screen and you're putting things out to the world. If you are a business that isn't as exciting, let's say, how do you still convey that brand identity, that you're amenable, that you're welcoming, if that's what you want to be? Some people's brand is not to be, but if that's, how do you do that?
Yeah, it's that authenticity, because the right people will go to you because you're being yourself. Yeah, that's it.
Is that it? All right.
Well,
we can go home now, guys.
Well, it is all about that authenticity. We watched somebody talk about AI and how many people go, oh, this AI sounds me. It knows me. It doesn't. It knows how to be general. It knows how to make you sound general when you put your post out. And I'll be honest, I'm too lazy and I can't spell, so I use AI to do a lot of my stuff. But it's educated more on the whole conversation that we had, the authentic conversation that we've had, and gone down that route. But for businesses who may seem that they're a bit boring or a bit, your biggest critic is always yourself. But it's always going to be, oh, they're going to find me out that I don't know what I'm talking about, or they're going to find me boring. It's always, you've got to get over your own criticism and just do it, because once you start, it does become a bit of a bug as well, because it becomes that bit better. I mean, I've seen people do videos on here a long time ago compared to how they're doing them now.
It's changed,
they're so much better, they're so much different. Even when it came to events where I've interviewed you in the past, and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to say, but you know your stuff, and now you're just a better performer at it now. It's just breaking it down. You know all your stuff. You're, like Fuzz said, you're the boss of your business. You know, can I swear?
No.
I'm not in charge.
You know your shit. You know your shit. You know what you're talking about. You've done it for so many years. You just need to be more authentic, or more authentically you. This is how I talk authentically. I say naughty words and I fumble my words, but that's just who I am. And you can decide from seeing me, understanding me, and going, that's who I want to work with. But yeah, as an accountant, you think that there's this standard that you have to be that professional. You have to arrive in suits. You have to arrive in a hoodie. Be you. I mean, we in fact, we had an accountant come to our studio, hire it out, and we were doing their podcast. And they spoke about what was actually in the receipt bags. Sticky condoms, just so you know. That's what they found in them. Yeah. Some of the stuff that they were getting on their tax returns. You don't think they're tax deductible, but
no,
it turns out they could be.
Can I just say?
It wasn't you.
No.
Right.
I would pay to see Dr. Tim Aker with a hoodie.
Yeah.
I would pay to see you with a hoodie. Do you own a hoodie?
God, you didn't say something worse. It starts with a
You have a hoodie?
Somewhere.
There's a load of these if you want one.
Fuzzy logic. Next event.
I think I have to go to the gym or something.
So you've been, I think, the longest of us even though you're the youngest of us. You've been in business for about 20 years, and over that time, there's lots of things have changed. So your businesses have changed, you've changed. You know, what gems could you give us? Pun, see what I did there. What gems could you give us in terms of how you have a life outside of business? I think that's quite important. How do you still maintain you and enjoying life?
There was a period where I didn't enjoy it at all, the business. So it's gone. I've made it fit me now. You know, for those of you who know that I've had, a tricky few years with my family. So my business definitely took a back seat, and no one died. We all think, if we're not on it 110%, it's going to fall apart. And big surprise, it doesn't. It changes and it moves on, and it suits me better now. And my family life is my priority, and my business works around it. And I'm downsizing with the business, sold off some properties. I'm not taking on any new clients. It's just running as it is. But it can be, speak about being a landlord, everyone hates you. You speak about being a letting agent, everyone hates you. So it's coming from there and finding the people that you work with. For me, it's especially with the apartment block that I have around the corner here. There's 19 units in there. I manage that. I have to deal with those people on a daily basis. So as picking clients, I guess they are my clients, but the tenant selection has always been vitally important. And even when I had several people work with me, I always did all the viewings myself, because it was very important who lived there, because I had my office in the block for a while and had to do that. So I think as time goes on and you get older, you get really tired. You just have to make your business fit for you, rather than you fit. I think early doors, you fit in with the business. As it moves on, you make it work for you, because we are in charge. And I'm pretty tough. I start my day speaking to builders every day, and the days where it used to start with, "You're right, love, doing all this," they moved on, those people. And the people that I work with now, the trades, they treat me with respect, whereas a lot of the guys before. But we've got there over time.
Boundaries, yes. And I think it's boundaries for yourself as well as the people that you work with. And if you're going to be in business for any longer than 2 years, I think you sort of learn that you need to.
Unfortunately, blokes assuming it's a building, you're a girl, you don't know anything.
Little did they know, have they?
Well, there's been a fair line of them chucked off the side.
Just I'm a bloke that don't do DIY.
There's a lot of them as well.
What about you then, Ben? So you're in business with your wife, not that she's in business with you, to see how the feminist in me there. How do you guys manage, like, still having fun? Still finding time? You must have fun at work as well as outside of work. Keep it clean.
Yeah. The studio is a clean, safe space. That tax return. I think our roles are defined, and that might sound like it's putting restrictions on you, like you can't have fun. Well, that's not the case. We do what we enjoy. We both do Rachel does more of the accounting than I do, so sorry about that. No, but I do filming, I do editing, I do a lot of learning because of the people that I get to listen to and work with. Rachel does a lot of putting her face out there, doing the interviews, conducting people, bossing me around, things that she really loves and enjoys doing. And that is what makes it fun. If we didn't make it like that, and we went through a period where we were both trying to do everything. So she'll come to me with shoots. You saw when we used to do weddings and stuff. We're kind of in each other's pockets all the time. But now we hardly share a room together at the studio, which means we can talk about things. We still have our own day and kind of race to completing our tasks. Like, I've completed my edits before you've done your emails, kind of thing. So
Who wins?
I never.
Rachel.
Yeah.
But the fun at work and fun at life is kind of a lot of our work is life, but we've got our kids at home. Even like having them kind of put their input in the work. I had a day where I was really struggling to do. I had to film plant pots.
Exciting.
Yeah, the stationary thing. They look pretty,
That's
but
good.
I was like, I'm at a block here, so I brought my son to work, and having a kid's imagination come in and try and be like, you can do this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and I was like, I'll try 174. They'll try. And it worked, but not because not because he gave me all the ideas, but it then started unlocking.
Yeah.
And you've got to remember that, like,
And you've got to be a different person with your son, I suppose, haven't you? You can't be.
But have fun like a kid.
Yeah.
Like, choose to be fun like a kid with whatever task you're doing. How do you get the kids to pick up socks? Who can pick them up the quickest? So who can get through this spreadsheet the quickest? It's kind of that sort of thing.
Blessing, you must see, I see it in my line of work, that people are scared. Like, that's all well and good. Have fun at work. Have fun with your teams. But bringing the tone down a bit. In this era of, you can't say anything anymore. You can't do anything anymore. How do you still have that good culture without crossing the line, if that's the right phrase to use?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think if the culture isn't defined, then you're at risk, full stop. In biology, when they taught us culture, they give you a petri dish, put cotton wool in it, and you put it by the window or something. If you don't put it there, it grows itself, whether you like it or not. Culture is one of those things that it just happens. It happens whether you like it or not. So if you don't define the culture in your business, in your organization from the start, it is going to develop itself, and it's going to be something and become a beast. And with every addition or every subtraction, it changes again. Everyone comes with their own energy, adds to it or removes from it, dilutes it. So it keeps morphing. So if you as the leader, you as the owner of the business, haven't defined what it is, and it's something you have to keep defining. It's not something you've defined 10 years ago and then that's it. No, you have to move with the times. Because the way the world was before COVID and how it is now is different. What was funny then might not be funny now. What was allowed then, so we we're talking about this earlier in the construction industry, where it's a world of blokes. They could have the odd calendars up in their stations and stuff, but a woman coming into the space changes the game, So culture is something that must be adapted. And as a leader, it's your responsibility to make sure that that's adaptable and it's going the right way. So I think if you define the boundaries, back to boundaries again, if you define what it is, what is allowed, we can have fun within this space, having banter. Sometimes they say, but I was only joking, but they're gaslighting you, but we have to be clear on what the culture is in our space. This is who we are, and make sure you bring in people that align with that culture. And if an environment where you're in doesn't align with you, you have the power to remove yourself. You don't have to stay in a place that's killing you, and then you're going home and you're ending that bottle of wine because somebody at work said something. If it doesn't align with you, you have the power to remove yourself and find the right place for you. So with culture, it's important that we define it, because without fun at work, what's the point?
I know, right?
What's the point? I remember. I always remember my last employment. I left not because I didn't enjoy the job. I left because of the people. And they were not men. It was my fellow women. It was a team of just women. But how they made me feel on a daily basis, it made me forget who I am. I just didn't want to be me anymore. And so we have to be careful. The impact it has on human beings, the impact it has on our mental health. It's not a joke. So be aware of the environment you're creating as the owner of the business. Be aware of the environment you're in, because it will affect your own mental health, and pay attention.
I'm so glad that you mentioned mental health, because it's very important, isn't it, Laura? Very important, very important, not just topic. I don't want it to seem as though it's just a word we're bandying around, but it's very important for us to look after our own mental health as well as the mental health of others. And I think some of that comes from modelling, especially if you're in a position of leadership. So whether you're working with other self-employed people, or whether you have employed people, or whether you have a membership of people. So, tell me, how do you do that as yourself? How do you model looking after or do you?
Wow, that's a really.
I'll start. I went to the spa on Thursday,
Oh, nice.
which was, I know that's not the be all and end all, but it was good, by myself, and I had lunch by myself, and it was the best thing ever. Yeah.
By that, are you trying to lead by example?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the last woman to a spa. I wake up, my wife would kill me. What are you doing at a spa?
So you're saying you look after your mental health by making sure you don't
go to
don't mess.
No.
Don't tell the wife.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with ADHD about 4 years ago. I wasn't aware of that. I was never really aware. I don't think we are at first if we're suffering it from mental health issues first, until we get help, or until we see someone, or until our friend tells us, oh, by the way, I think you've got ADHD. Normally that's how it goes. But once I think it goes back to our conversation before, once you know who you are, once I was diagnosed, honestly, it changed my life. I was employed then. And as soon as I was diagnosed, it's actually, I'm not meant to have a manager. I'm not meant to appoint to anyone. I'm meant to appoint to myself. But I think just understanding who you are, first of all, will help with your mental health. But I won't lie to you, the first 2 years of running a business, your mental health kind of goes out the window. And then once you start finding yourself and start going, right, now I can make the business work around me, it's understanding what your actual priorities are, rather than what your priorities are within the business. It's my wife is 39 weeks pregnant, and I'm like,
and you're here.
And should I be here?
No, it's good. Well
my
done.
phone is not on Do Not Disturb. I apologise. But it's those. It's you do sometimes forget. Oh God, I have kids. Do you know what I mean? It's a scary thought, but you just need to be aware of, be present, even when you're in the middle of a meeting. Be present.
I think you're absolutely right. But also, Sue, because we've known each other for a long time, what I've always valued in a friendship with you is that you could find your tribe who you could talk to if you're not feeling 100%, or someone who's going to be supportive and you can be open with. I mean, I think that's what you've created, isn't it?
If you're breakthrough women, for Deb and I, I know for you as well, Lisa Settle, a lot of, she's just an amazing friend to everybody. But I think you do have to look after yourself. But for me, especially, I find with the block there, there's 19, lots of them couples in, some of them are now young families. So I feel a responsibility to them to make sure they're living in a nice environment. And I had a situation about a year or so ago where there was one couple that were bullying a young family, and I wasn't sure if it was a race issue, which is always dodgy to keep on. And I tried to mediate it, and in the end, I evicted them. I felt strongly enough that they were, and it was a lesson really to let it. I'm not going to tolerate this.
Nice.
Everybody deserves somewhere quiet and peaceful and to feel safe. And this young family didn't feel safe from the behaviour, and it was really starting to get to me, worrying about what was going on there. And even though they were bullying this family, the guy was an absolute lump, and I just thought, if he loses his shit, I'm going to have a catastrophe here. So I think if you have a team in whatever way that is, you definitely feel a responsibility. So, to protect yourself and to protect them, and to make sure that the environment that everybody's in is conducive to people being happy.
Yeah. And for yourself, I think it is that finding that.
Yeah.
You're finding your tribe, isn't it? And they don't have to be doing the same things as you, do they? If you're a solopreneur, or if you're an employee, or it doesn't have to be people who've been doing the same thing as you, but you've got to have the same values.
Sometimes with none of my friends, close friends, have their own businesses, so they don't always get it. It's they're great friends and we have a lot of fun together, but I wouldn't talk to any of them about business issues. I talk to Deborah, talk to Lisa, that's how we do it. I think that's why your business community is very, very important.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about your tribe, we had a recent. January was crap for us. We were taking no bookings, no one was calling, all seemed to be going downhill. And we spoke to a community that we're part of, and the thing that saved us was their honesty. The amount of people was like, we don't know what the hell you do. Like, okay, you do podcasts, but okay, and you're not charging for certain things. But sort that out. Like, you're doing a natural job there. The amount of time that takes you have a right to charge for that. And you're kind of thinking, you're if you're part of a tribe and you're seeing somebody struggle, don't just be pleasant, be honest, because that's more important than anything else. And they might get a bruise and stuff like that, but once they go to the other side and see that what your comments were actually true, honest, made a change, they're going to thank you and love you a lot more. Like,
Not one of that community spent money with us, but they also
The added value, in
Yeah,
other
the
words.
clarity.
Yeah.
yeah, and it has made us turn the business around. Like, and people who would be like, oh, can you come along and do this? Like, the things we've done for free because we thought it's good marketing for us. It's like, your capacity for free has to stop at some point. So you're going to turn around and be like, no, I've got to charge. And surprisingly, we've almost sold out the thing that we're charging for.
Putting the value on that,
Yeah.
isn't it? Very, very important, isn't it? I'd love to know, are there any questions in the audience for our panel members? Because we could just keep on talking otherwise.
I've got a question for Ben.
You got a question for Ben?
Oh dear. Where do you want to be
Who's
made?
my hairdresser?
Just the duo between you two. I think when you're a parent, there's one of you that is the default parent, right?
Did you not get
Rachel.
what you already said?
Rachel. Everything is
Who's the default business owner?
Rachel.
Okay.
It's very,
So you're just the fault parent and the fault business owner.
yeah, it's kind of, well, I started your video team, but I couldn't cope with your video team because there's a lot of time where things are getting on my nerves and I just don't know how to work it. Pretty much, I would go to somebody, go, you're wrong, you're shit, don't do it. Where I need someone to add the fluff.
Yeah.
That's very, yeah.
Fluffy logic.
Yeah. When it comes to a shoot day, I need to be direct. I need to say that that's not good enough. I won't swear at them necessarily. But I need to be on the point, and that's kind of how I communicate all the time. It's just, this is the fact, this is why it works, this is why you should do it, stop doing it wrong. And then Rachel can come in and be like, hey, if you try this, and I know how to do a shit sandwich. I know compliment, criticise, compliment, but I ain't got time for that.
In real time.
Yeah.
Never heard of that before. No.
I thought it was a feedback.
Yeah, it's good. So who's the default parent in your?
Oh, my wife, 100%.
And who's the default business?
Well, it's just my business, so me.
No, it's still your wife.
It's-
Just don't realise it. Trust me.
I think that can be a thing, though. I mean, like, I'm a business owner and I have a family as well, and I am the default everything. But sometimes you've got to protect your boundaries in that regard as well, because if you happen to be that person who seemingly does a lot, it's important to go to the spa on a Thursday and just have lunch by yourself and a massage.
Just put a show of hands. Is that right?
Yeah.
How much do we, raise your hand if you block out in your calendar time for yourself?
Personal time or
Good.
Oh wow.
Oh, we're all very good.
Wow.
What do you include in that? Going to exercise?
Anything.
Yeah.
Gym in the morning, it could be just a cup of tea by yourself.
Cinema with your mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, as a show of hands, who doesn't then? Okay. You need to. Let's go.
get over it.
It is very important, especially like for longevity. As I say, I spent at least the first 2 to 3 years just going and going and going and going and going. And then you get to a point where you think, I don't know if I can keep doing it. It stops being enjoyable. And you think, I don't know if I can keep on doing this. So, definitely carve out time for yourself and lead by example. So I don't know your name, but yes.
Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Hello. It was just a comment really tied into that, which is around understanding where your own energy flow is best. When I first started, well, actually, I still do it sometimes, but you have peaks and troughs when you own your own business, and sometimes in those troughs, I would still sit at my desk because it was a day that it's a Tuesday and I work on Tuesdays, and I'd sit there and just sometimes just go to sleep. At my desk because I didn't have enough work to be busy. Something I wasn't giving myself permission to go and do something for myself or go and connect with other people. And then I realised that actually my energy, as is a lot of people's, it's really low in the afternoon. So now I don't give myself a hard time. If I feel like I'm going to fall asleep in the afternoon, I'll probably just go and have a nap, and then I'm productive around that time, but rather than trying to push through it. So I think that understanding where your energy peaks and drops as well can be really helpful as business.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree with you, and finding something to do, and giving yourself permission, like you said, including exercise classes. Anyone that does follow me knows I spend a lot of time at the gym.
I'm a spa, apparently.
Maybe. No judgment. But I think it is important to carve out. It doesn't have to be like what I'm doing, killing myself with exercise. It can be something else. It might be pottery making, or reading a book, or colouring, or I don't know. It could be anything, really, couldn't it?
You also got to be allowed to say it's okay if I don't get that done, because again, it's your own critic. Don't look like that.
It's all right. It's all on video.
Well, for me, my personal thing that I enjoy doing is learning how to do different editing techniques, how to learn different stories. Like what my job is what I love to do. And going out, learning stories, hearing stories, editing stories, making them sound better. That's what I really enjoy doing. So I'm very fortunate in that process. But that doesn't mean it doesn't get overwhelming at times. And that's when I've got to say, and like, if I don't get it done, it's okay. I was well chuffed yesterday. I'd done 15 podcasts yesterday. I was really happy with that. A bit of AI help with that. It really makes it a bit easier. But
I think it's quite surprising. So you won't give yourself permission to, I don't know, say like maybe take the dog out for a walk in the middle of the day. And then sometimes you find yourselves in a situation like when, so I'd have like, I work on a Wednesday, for example, so I'd be in the office all day on a Wednesday. And then when my daughter was unwell, so I'd go in the office as normal, I'd start working, and then it was like the overwhelm would come and the panic and the thoughts would come, and I wasn't coping. So whatever I was trying to do, I wasn't doing. And I found if I then just stopped, took the dog out, went over the woods where I've got no service on my phone, walked outside, did an hour with the dog, came back and calmed myself down, and I could work again. But prior to that, I would never have, you'd have sat there like slogging it out. I would never have got up and just gone for a wander in the middle of the day. So it's almost like, don't wait until you're kind of at a place where you have to like preempt that and take the time for yourself and just get out and do whatever, have a cup of tea, go and have a spa treatment, do whatever you do.
Well, you've got to. I find that you have to block these days out in advance, because if you're in a business and you want business, if something else comes in and it seems like a good deal, you'll be inclined to say yes. But actually, you should say yes to yourself. So block it out, and then if like next week Wednesday I'm not available. So if you need me next week Wednesday, I'm just not available. I mean,
So you're going to be
We
in
know
the
where
spa.
you'll be. We're in the spa.
I'll be in the gym.
that's the same with all tasks. Like, for me, a lot of the overwhelm was going, I've got a shit ton of podcasts to edit, as well as these social videos to edit, as well as these blogs to sort out, and my stuff isn't happening. I've got to try and write a script for a video. And it was all kind of this big mush of things what I had to sort out. When it was going, and it's going to be boundaries. Boundaries are fun, guys.
Organised fun.
Yeah. But setting the boundaries and the flow state, for me, flow state isn't a specific time or specific day. It's refreshing the task that I'm doing. So going from editing to going to script writing to going to filming, like
blocking, chunking your day. I think that's really
kind of revitalising.
It helps your brain as well, doesn't it? Not to be thinking about the next thing. Or I like to-do lists because I like to tick them off.
I work on a loading bar, so like some of our tasks are actually projects. But rather than it be one tick, I've done 10% of that, and I know I've got
so you feel
10 days to do that. So as long as I do 10% every day, that's fine. And if
I just thought she was
10%.
colouring in. Helping my mental health.
I've never looked at it like that. That's fine. So that way, my brain can I'm bored of creating all this social content. Right, I'm going to flip over to the blog right tonight. 10% of that today.
We've got the wrong person on the panel.
I need a man.
Can I pick up on the neurodiversity side of things? Because this is really something that's come into play probably in the last 5 years, probably post-COVID, that there's much more realisation. And just hearing, I know what Sue went through, but overwhelm, when you get to a point, and if you have ADHD, you cannot see the wood through the trees. You don't have that ability. And my personal story is that I knew to get Funny Women to the next stage, I had to start looking at funding, external funding, and applied for Arts Council, wanted to apply for Arts Council funding. And it was our local rep manager here in Kent, lady called Dulcie Alexander, who just, I was talking to her, I got invited to a meeting with other creative people, and I said, oh, Arts Council, I said, I can't do it. I've looked at granted several times, I just can't get my head around it. I can't do it, I'm not going to try. She said, yes, you are. She said, I'll get you a support worker. I said, I don't need a support worker. I'm not disabled. She said, no, but, you're neurodiverse. And it took somebody externally to recognise that, to say, obviously she's used to working with people in the art field. We've got creative people here, so possibly a familiar story. And then it was an absolute revelation. Like some people use systems, or I'm hopeless at that. Anything online with lots of lines and numbers on a screen, I don't know if anyone else has this problem. I find that very difficult. Somebody actually talking you through it. And I realised that that's it, is finding those people to champion you and to unravel stuff. And I don't know if that's your experience with ADHD, but just hearing you two talk, there's possibly you take on your tasks that Ben finds more difficult, which my husband is. He's probably the opposite of me, and he's really good on blocking out time and numbers and charts. He gets very frustrated with me because I do everything in a very sort of whirlwindy, circular way. But sometimes you need to have that space and time with somebody else to organise it. So coming back to the theme of the day, I think we don't reach out enough and talk about it. And so I'd like to say, you need to recognise if you're like that and be honest about it and talk about it. Your wonderful husband and you did a talk, didn't you? I can't remember what that was. But that really hit home about neurodiversity. You talked about it a lot. I can't remember specifically.
I don't think
Is it Mid-Kent College?
No, it was where was it? Chatham Dockyard.
Oh, right, yes,
it was.
I think my one of our Medway champions meetings, actually.
Yes, it wasn't around neurodiversity, it was around essentially what we've been talking about championing yourself and looking after yourself, but more importantly, making sure that your mental health doesn't become a barrier. Because I think what's really important is that it does feed into neurodiversity as well, of course it does. I think what's really important is that sometimes we think that we're the only ones struggling with something, and actually when we're really real and honest and when we're open, a lot of people are struggling with things, and we think we need to be perfect and the best or anything, when in reality a lot of people are just trying to swim through mud at the moment and they're really struggling, but they don't know how to say it. But like you said, if you've never struggled with your mental health before, how do you know now you're struggling? So self-awareness is so key. But once, and I think it's really important to have built a community, we go, how are you doing? I've noticed you haven't seen yourself lately. There's power in that. Because sometimes you don't realise how bad you are until someone else picks up on it. And if someone says, you're really all right, you're like, no, I'm not. And then that's when the power is, that's when you can make a change, and that's when you can make the small steps forward. So I think there's real power in connection and real power being honest and recognising that it's okay if you don't know every step forward. You just got to take that one step forward, whatever that looks like. It might even be, I've got to get out of bed in the morning for some clients that I've worked with, or it might be, I've got to do that meeting. But whatever it is, it's just making that small change to make a difference.
Yeah, and making sure you do accept that support, isn't it? Like you said, I don't need
have
support.
To say, I'm quite bad at taking support or getting help. I just think, I can do this. But I'm to be at this stage in my life, quite old, and then to discover this, everything suddenly you look back and think,
makes sense.
That's why that didn't work, and that's why I found that difficult. And it's recognising what you are dealing with, and obviously ADHD is a weird thing. It takes many different forms, and some people are a tiny bit. It's not really an illness either.
No,
I
it's
just
just
think
a
it's a condition.
For me, it is.
It's an illness. I'm going to get a beard and
Yeah, be part of, yeah. Join the club.
Just want
Sweet
to
nut.
expand on that, sorry. I think one thing that changed our business is just realising that you need a yin to your yang.
yes.
And it's not someone who you don't get on with. Like, one thing that I talk about in the fuzzy formula talk that I do is like, just trust your fuzzy feeling. Like, we all have that in the instinct. I call it the fuzzy feeling. Just trust it. And that, obviously, that's what I've done the last 2 years. And everyone that's part of Fuzzy Logic, I've a trust with my house keys. You know what I mean?
It's about environment, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's about environment. If you're an eagle and you're busy pecking away with chickens, what's the likelihood of you ever taking flight? Yeah. So if you know who you are, back to self-awareness, are you in the right environment for you? Because if you're a certain way, or you want to, I deal with ambitious leaders, and you're quite ambitious, or you've got this vision, but you're with people who go, oh, don't do that. Oh, that's too much. Oh, and they keep talking you out, talking you down, and you're going to think something is wrong with you. But being bold enough to take the courage to take the step out of that and go and find your tribe, go and find the right environment that would enable you and will edge you on to be more of yourself. I think that's the best gift you can give yourself, really.
100%. Okay, just going to sweet